Hello, Red187 here, and welcome back to Combat Mission Battle for Normandy. We are continuing with our Scottish Corridor campaign, and we're heading into the 8th mission. And this is the defence of Gavrus. So we're now on to June 29th. This is the day after our night defence in the last scenario. And we have moved slightly south. So in the background, the Argyll and Southern Highlanders have seized a second bridge at Odun, and now we're defending around the village of Gavrus. We are joining B Company, or elements of B Company, who are defending the south of the village. So we have 11 platoon of B Company starting on the map. These were part of the troop during our fence on Tourville that we marched up the side and marched off the corners. So these are completely unaffected by combat thus far, so full strength platoon there, so it's nice to get to play with. In addition, we have an 80 gun already set up on the map with a couple of Bren carriers for themselves and for their ammo crew. Our mission here is to defend. So this is a German counterattack to our bridgehead, or second bridgehead I should say, and you can see on the screen here there's three phase lines essentially that we have to defend. So we've got phase line blue, which runs along this hedge line here, phase line yellow, which is this short one here, and phase line red, which is this interior one. We also have an objective to hold this field in general. Now these phase lines are touch objectives for the Germans, so that means as long as they get a man, a vehicle, or whatever into one of these squares, they get their points for it. Doesn't matter if I then drive them off later, it's just simply a touch. And then obviously this field objective is a hold. So this isn't the force we start with. We have no artillery support either now or throughout the scenario. We are expecting some reinforcements, so after about 10 minutes we'll get 10th platoon of B Company, and after about 50 minutes we're going to get 14th platoon of C Company. Now I'm quite curious to find out what's going to happen with that one, as 14th platoon of C Company was featured in our nighttime defence, and were eliminated pretty much to a man. So it will be interesting to see if anyone actually shows up when those reinforcements are due. The briefing did mention a chance for resupply, so we might get at least part of a platoon turning up made entirely of green recruits. I don't know. We'll have to see what we get. I didn't check the campaign details for what the kind of resupply percentage was. But do you know what, just before we get into more of this now, I was having a quick think on our kind of 13th and 14th and 15th platoon of C Company that we lost the vast majority of in the last scenario, because they have been with us for the attack on Tourville, the defence at Mondravie, and then the crossing the Odun, and then the nighttime defence. So again, this was 4 missions. But they all took place over 2 days, and we had gone from a combat strength of something like 3 platoons. So you've got kind of 10 guys in each section. So there's 30 dudes. You've got a couple of weapons sections. So there's another 8, so 38 dudes. Okay, call it 40. So my numbers are nice, easy. So there's 120 men essentially. And then by the end of the last scenario, we had 28. I know there was a couple other people thrown in the mix there. So you were talking a kind of less than 25% combat strength after 2 days of fighting. That's insane to lose that many guys kind of killed or wounded. You don't tend to see those figures in reality. I suppose it might be for specific platoons and things. I just thought it was interesting to put the text side of things in the context. Local now, I'm sure people will comment about lots of real life, but that's where exactly that happened. But anyway, back to I was got in front of us. We're defending. We think one infantry company or in strength from the 10th SS division. So I suspect they'll be pretty similar strength. 3 platoons of infantry. They are supported by armoured cars. Don't know how many will make up, but we'll expect some of that, either armoured cars or maybe some half-tracks or something like that will be what gives them the edge in this kind of attack. Okay, so in terms of tactics, there was two main kind of thoughts I had in my head when I first approached this mission on kind of how to defend, and they kind of broke down into either kind of, one was maintaining this AT gun position and pushing forward troops to kind of hold along phased line blue and try and hold this position. It's not bad. Obviously, we've got the AT gun set up already. They've got vision over the Boogie Road. Excuse me, everything turning purple. I have put them on a target armor command. And the lines of sight are okay, so we can see through. We can see through onto these road in patches, through these kind of fences, and depending on the height of the vehicle, they might be able to see the turret above the hedgerows. They are a bit obscured towards the junction, and again, really until you get to bits of this field, and it gets a little bit patchy. So it's okay. It's not perfect by any stretch of imagination. Better defense down this way, or better vision down this way than I have over here. So that's not a bad position to hold. We could bring our infantry up to support it. It does defend the first touch objective, and we've got a relatively natural kind of barrier here, preventing kind of lines of sight onto a large section of our lines. But I would expect the Germans to start kind of piling up firing positions along here eventually and kind of attack us that way. The main weakness with this position is, as I've highlighted, their ability to could take their armoured cars essentially down this side of the map, down this road, and come in at our flank, where our AT gun has no vision. It's very difficult and very timely to try and reposition this thing on the hoof in an offensive manner, and certainly could cause us a lot of problems. So that was one option. The kind of second option I had was, okay, well, let's say I don't like that idea. We could actually just abandon this position, start off by just pulling the gun out, abandon phase line blue, and defend within this field itself. So we can set up a defensive line kind of along this hedgerow and along this hedgerow, and kind of maybe pull back the AT gun and either set them up kind of in this corner or down in this corner, where they can kind of protect from vehicles coming down this road, potentially vehicles coming in here. I haven't quite checked the vision on that. And you kind of cover the vertical angle here. Again, their infantry is going to have to kind of cross open fields to get to us, so it does give us some opportunity to kind of get them in the open. But similar before, there's kind of these nice bocages that the machine gun teams are going to set up along and act as a firing base for Germans, and obviously we give up this touch objective. For vehicles coming down the other way, well then, if they want to be of use, they're going to have to come down this road and either kind of come into this field past this farmhouse or all the way down here. And that would provide us the opportunity to defend this angle with infantry teams. So just take a infantry section and a Piat team, kind of get them hiding a bit close quarters, and then, if the armoured car does come, hopefully they can take that out. So that's certainly a viable option. And those are the two thoughts. Also pros and cons for both. In the end, I've opted for the kind of forward defensive line. So keeping the AT gun where they are and bringing forward troop support. I don't know if it's the most sensible decision, but I'm loath to give up an objective so easily. The one caveat we've got to be aware of is there is part of the briefing is to pull out this AT gun before the end of the mission. So if we need to make sure we do take out those armoured cars early doors before we pull this guy out, or else we'll be a little bit exposed. But yeah, so I like the idea of trying to take the forward position. Again, another downside, it will mean our reinforcements when in turn will have a further distance to go to get to us, but it's not that far. It's not taking that much longer. I also quite like this position because I'm going to try and hold a bit of a flanking position on the Germans. So the way I view it is if they're going to come and attack these positions, eventually they'll probably try and push the flank, but primarily they're going to have to kind of come through this field. This hedge gives them a natural position for a fire base to attack guys down here. Otherwise, they're going to come down this road. And I'm going to try and get some of my troops positioned at this end of the field, which should give us a nice kind of enfilading position on any Germans crossing here. So of my infantry that I'm pushing forward, get one of the Bren teams set up here. Probably get the mortar teams set up, not in the same place, but kind of just round the corner, where again they've got good views of troops crossing the field. And then get probably my anti-tank detachment set up, probably in the ground floor of like this building, just to defend against, well, primarily a push by an armoured car, but also as a bit of provide some support should infantry push in. I'm not 100% sold on that. They would end up being a little bit exposed if Germans pushed quite far around to the left, and they are pretty valuable. But certainly I need to have them somewhere over here to act as defence in case they kind of come charging down with armoured cars. That said, actually my AT gun should provide defence against that anyway. So maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I want to keep my Piat team over on this side in case the armoured car comes down this way and support over there with one of my infantry sections. 2, 3. Might do that. Might do that. This will, of course, expose our right-hand flank until our reinforcement arrives for the first 10 minutes. If the Germans knew about it, they could come charging through here and get pretty close. But I'm kind of banking the fact that they're not going to get this far forward in that time, and our initial reinforcements can kind of plug this gap. So we're going to hold kind of positions along this hedgerow and then down here as well with our 3 sections. I think that's what we're going to do. So what I'll go do, I'll go put a cut in, I'll issue kind of initial orders for my units. We'll come back, I'll kind of let you know of any changes I've made in the time, and then we'll kick things off and see if we can't find first contact. And I did decide to use one of the infantry sections to kind of try this flanking manoeuvre. I took the slightly smaller ones, the one with 8 men, because they've got a scouting 2-man team broke off there. They'll come round and then I can split them down again. So I can use the detachment with the Bren gun in it to hopefully find an enfilading position, and then just hold back the officer and his 3 riflemen just to prevent any push for German infantry through this town, and use the AT gun to hold any to rely on the AT gun to take any armoured cars that do push down this road. Apart from that, it was very much as discussed. We're going to get one of our other sections on this hedgerow, one of the sections on this hedgerow, and we keep our Piat down here just in case the armoured car gets close enough. And that's about it. So let's kick things off and see where we get to. So it will be interesting to see at which point on the map the Germans spawn. So I don't know if they're going to be pushing in. Oh, well, there they are. Okay, so it looks like they're coming in from our, was that kind of northeast? Or east, I should say. Which is interesting, which is going to give them a shorter route down onto this kind of undefended section than if we were pushing in from Boogie itself. Hopefully, hopefully I will, at least we'll have time enough to get in position, and there's still a lot of open ground, so a real worry will be, well, one will be the fire bases we managed to establish, and 2 will be where this armoured car turns up. And we have some Germans moving the open field here, so they're already pushing in onto this hedgerow, which is that, to be honest, that's a lot quicker than I was expecting. In fact, they are essentially set up. Just spotted down my Piat team down here. So they are after the first minute going to have fire positions available, and we'll get those wonderful MG 34s and MG 42s coming down on us. Okay. I don't think there's much tweaks to our orders. I just want everyone to get into position. I'll let you guys kind of go another minute before I split these up. I think this is fine. Let's just keep going. I have got my AT gun on an armour only target. I don't want them giving their position away, although I'm not sure how visible they're going to be. Depends how close people get. Also, these guys aren't firing on the Germans at sea, but once our Bren gun gets position, he might decide to open up, which is okay. I'm quite happy to start kind of this firefight. Oh, and the Germans make themselves known. That is, I always hate giving away the first casualty, but I always seem to do it. Fair play. They've caught sight through that hedge, through the gap, through the hedgerow. A quick spray of the machine gun, and they've taken down one of our riflemen. They should manage to get across without any further casualties, which is good. We see some Germans now pushing down this flank as well, and we've just about got our own teams in position. We might give them a little bit of a target order there, just to put some suppressed fire down for a little bit. Oof. I think indeed we are. You guys see? No, despite the firing from the hedges, you're not sure anyone's there. That's a dangerous position to hold right here, this little gap. Okay. Fire is going both ways. So, yeah, okay, let's jump into command phase. So what I really want to do is get these guys split up. Split teams, grab these guys. I'd like you to move into this position, where you should have sight lines, not that position. Right down this hedgerow, and if we can put some Bren fire right down the length of that hedgerow, kind of perpendicular to the German positions, that should cause lots of suppression and hopefully a few casualties. And I'm going to push you guys just straight into here. Again, they're not huge force. They've got, they've got one automatic weapon, which is good. Do know there are Germans pushing through this field, so I'd like to get some kind of defensive position over here, just to stop them from flanking round. Probably just hole up in the base of one of these houses. I don't want to go kind of second story and really expose myself to a lot of fire, but I'm willing to kind of make sure there's no sneaky Germans. Meanwhile, do I want to use some of my precious 2-inch mortars and just start dropping them in? You're not deployed, so I will hold off. We might get better sight. These guys should hopefully start getting some spots as well. Okay, you are finally moving up there. You've seen people and are happy to start shooting. Do I want to direct you, or am I happy you're just shooting at targets? I'm kind of okay with that for now, actually. Don't feel the need to direct your fire. Right, let's run. Hopefully we'll get some pressure out. So it looks like we've got a full company. Not company, full platoon there. 3 infantry groups. Okay, it looks like some of our fire going across this field, but I'm worried about losing the essentially the fire here. Losing the fight in terms of volume of fire. If I can get all my words out. And they are pushing in more Germans across this open field, which we're not really going to take advantage of if we stay suppressed from the MG positions here. Which is why getting this enfilade position up will be key. And with action having kicked off so early, it's a long way until our reinforcements get here. Oh, that's a lot of fire coming at right. Oh my god. They are just stacked up. So we've definitely got machine gun set up there. Yeah, MG42. So it's just an MP40. We can see here's dude's got another machine gun. Okay, so it might be that this is an infantry section, or squad, whatever you want to call them, whereas this is it could be an MG detachment. Why it's got the tripod. So we might want to get our Bren to target some of these specifically. Oh, are you even shooting anyone? Those guys over there. I mean, okay, but we need to do something about those MGs. Meanwhile, what can we see here? Just an HQ unit. So it's probably going to be, I don't know actually. We reckon we're facing a company's worth of infantry. So you're talking what, 9 squads of infantry maybe? In 3 groups plus an armoured car support. That makes sense. So we could have potentially one there, one here, and one coming in here. Possibly. Okay, those guys made it across, so that's fine. So we've beaten any Germans getting in this position. These guys are in position, hopefully making some spots. No? Okay. Let's play the last 8 seconds. I feel lucky not to start getting casualties here, to be perfectly honest. I had to say it, didn't I? Just a rifleman though, so I'll take that. And, oh, here we go. Armoured car. Now this is it. This is the big question time. Is which direction is that going to take? Okay, let's go into orders. So I want you to start enfilading down here. Oh no. This foliage He's blocking their line of sight. So all these lovely targets down here, you're not going to be able to take a pop at. That's troublesome. That is troublesome. I mean, yes, I could absolutely move you around here. But then you're going to be exposed to Germans coming through this field. So it relies on us being able to stop them getting into this position, which I'm not sure we can do. So just a slight side note in terms of planning and preparation and combat mission and all those things. Because I was heading into a discussion the other day about how much planning people put into these things, and I know people go into tremendous levels of details of kind of terrain analysis from using stuff. Whereby I probably could have if I'd spied the map in huge amounts of detail and recognised that this is line of sight blocking foliage, which isn't a guarantee to be honest, because I wasn't aware of that. I could have known before I put these guys here that this wasn't going to work. However, I feel like that's a level of detail too far in terms of what you want to plan for combat missions. So I like to at least have an element of realism where I say, okay, I know the overall ground, I know roughly the lay of the land, field breakups, hedges, all that kind of stuff. Plan where and how I want to hold it, and then when I do find things like it's not a perfect view position and other bits like that, kind of trying to adapt my plan. Because I don't know, I feel it adds a kind of an almost a slight element of realism in terms of battlefield planning and trying to tweak it. Might just be an excuse for my laziness wanting to do incredibly detailed planning for a start of every mission, so caveat there. But yeah, I feel like being able to fly around the map and find the perfect keyhole position before your troops are anywhere near it is a little bit OTT. So I don't tend to do that. But it is more effective, so each their own. Anyway, that comes down, the question is then what am I going to do with these guys, and am I going to risk pushing them around this corner? And I don't know if it's worth it. Well, it might be worth it. We might get away with it for a couple of minutes if we do something like, hey, do you want to... Actually, yeah, that's a great idea. We'll get these guys to drop their mortars in this position. Might not get a huge number of kills, but it should at least get those guys to turn their positions and maybe come in this way rather than go along. And then from here, it's not as good a position. And in fact, you're still claiming you can't see. Really? I don't believe that. No, that excuse me, all the bushes from here should have a reasonably good line of sight down. Harumph. Okay. Well, maybe we'll push around even further. Alright, we'll go for that. Don't know if they're going to stay there. I don't know if they can manage to stay there. Meanwhile, how far do I push these guys? Look, you want to come into, say, level 1 here? Come out to here, and then the question is which building do I put them into? Put them in here, potentially they'll get some shots down the road. In fact, do you know what I will? No, don't hide. I think it's going to be a pretty temporary measure. But what I might do is get them to drop into level 1. Face down this way. Hopefully catch some Germans out of sorts. And then just get out of town. And take up residence somewhere else. Long term, we're going to lose the firefights that's sitting there. We don't have the weight of fire. These guys should hopefully start making spots on those dudes. And we'll drop some rounds in. And I'm pretty sure once he gets in, he is going to be able to put some fire down on the Germans over there. Although those trees might be in the way, to be fair. Nah, you should get a line of sight on some of them at least. It's not the perfect position I was aiming for. But I'm certainly not going to bring him into this field. That's just going to end badly. Okay. Not the picture perfect start I want. You guys are okay to pick your targets. You, I am going to mix up a little bit. And see if you can't target. Excuse me? Pretty sure you can see these hedges and the guys hiding behind them. Ah, CM and your line of sight tool. Also wonderful. Right, you can happily see both those guys. So maybe we'll do a little swap. Why don't you shift over slightly? Why don't you just come round to that position? And we shall move our brain gun down into here. Well, they are advancing pretty quickly. We have a non-existent line here. Right, anyway, enough whittering. Let's push on. Let's see if this works. I'm very nervous for these guys, which is generally a bad sign when it comes to planning. And also worried about how long they can last. But more importantly, just going to be seeing where this car goes. Come on, come down here. Come on. A lot more infantry coming across there. Looks like where the main kind of push is coming from. That's okay. If they want to take the time, I'm okay with that. Mortar's going out. We should deny them any progress further, and we'll have a look, see what vision these guys have got. And it might just be we hold this for 2 minutes, spray some stuff down the line, and then call it a day. That's quite nice. I might get them to correct over an action square. Sugar. Okay. That is making life problematic. He's got a fair rate of knots as well. Okay, awesome. Let's go. Let's go and celebrate an actual German injury. I mean, there may be a few more we don't know about, but I'll take what I can get. Oh, they even got one of the officer with the MP40. Good. It's not only me who loses the automatic weapons. Happy at that. Okay, and this looks like it's stopping them pushing around the corner, which should be ideal for these guys helping out. Still no confirmation of the vehicle, but what I am going to do... yeah, let's jump into... You guys are just getting in there. Command phase, please. Let's grab our AT gun, and let's get him shifted over slightly. These things are slow and ponderous. I can move it just one action square, which I think should be fine. And they'll have a view on that gap there if and when the car turns up. So we're going to try that. Let's move to there. Please and thank you, face this direction. I'm assuming they only have one armoured car. That could be nonsense. They could have some more supporting elements, but we shall see. Meanwhile, please tell me you guys have line of sight. Have line of sight. On the MG guy. Yes. Absolutely shoot him, please. Oh, even if that's the only pixel tripping you take care of, I'll be a very happy man. Meanwhile, can we correct ever so slightly? Yes, much better. That's going to be perfect. I mean, they might all be across, so we might have to correct again. But that's okay. I'm willing to use essentially the entire allotment of HE rounds. There is some more in this carrier. Number 13, so we can go and resupply once we've done that. I think we might need to. Meanwhile, these guys are doing okay. You guys are suppressed. Fine. I accept that. Really, we just want to hold on for 6 minutes till our reinforcements come. Alright, let's start over here, see if we can't cause some problems for this MG man. Oh, and this guy should have a bad time once our troops get in position. Oh, hello, let's got eyes on the car. Let's go have a look, see what we're up against. Okay. No, I definitely don't know the name of this, but yes, some kind of German armor car with, what's that, 20 mil cannon? Yes, there you go, 20 mil cannon. And a associated machine gun. So this thing will absolutely chew through our infantry, even hiding behind bushes. So definitely a problem. And it's going to take probably at least a turn or two for our AT gun to recalibrate. Recalibrate? Reposition. Meanwhile, how are you guys feeling about life? I mean, yeah, we've only got bolts, so the Sten gun's getting involved. That's a nice position. At some point, some of the MG gun's going to turn around and start arguing with you, which is going to feel bad. But it's going okay. Quite far, 230 meters, but one hit's all we need. Okay, let's go back to action. With good casualties over here, it looks like. He's absolutely going for it. I wonder if the AT gun can see him from where he is. Oh, these guys are having a bad time with it. Whoa. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Did you just shoot a Panzerschreck at me? Oh look, all the lovely red crosses. Okay, so we're having a bit of a fight of it. P40. Second MP4. Yeah, so I think this is another infantry platoon, would be my guess. Okay, so people are getting shot, which is generally good to see. That's a lot of MP40s though. Worrisome. The cross is going out. Ah yes, there it is. This guy, no nonsense. I'm going to shoot a Panzerschreck down at the troops in the building. Which, fair play, would cause a lot of damage if he got inside, but missed. And I'm going to leave them where they are because I need their support. Okay, car. What happened to the car? Why did we lose vision of it? Came in. I think he might have come under fire from someone. Just impressive, managed to scare away an armoured car. Oh, there's a bullet whizzing past their heads. They say, had enough, thank you, see you later. Okay, let me reverse a bit. I suspect they will be back. Meanwhile, how is our MG man? Ah, he's turned to face his aggressors. Ooh. I'm hopeful. Hopefully we can win that fight. Okay, pretty happy over here. I think this is going relatively well. Oh, this isn't the rain gun, okay, it's just a rifleman. Numbers might worry us over here. This is still a concern, although we seem to at least got him to stop. And I'm going to have to adjust his fire mission as well. Let's come down over here for a bit of a closer look. Yeah, there are guys just rampaging down the road, which should hopefully be met with an unhappy end. In terms of the numbers we can see, we've got quite a lot stacked against here, so I think we'll probably move the mortar down onto this position. What are you? Just riflemen. Okay. And then we can keep these guys pinging away. We'll probably end up with some Germans in these houses at some point. Meanwhile, how are you doing? You're still moving. These things take so long to move by hand. And you guys are being my thin blue line. At some point you're going to get chewed up. They're gonna advance. And that's going to be it. It's a lot of Germans. A lot of Germans. Okay. Got another one. Haven't got the machine gun man. That could certainly cause problems for the guys in the house. We've got some more pushing in. Okay. It's okay. Not without challenge, but I'm not going to get too doom and gloom. I think we're okay. I feel like I'm actually effectively using my mortar for once. Which doesn't often happen. So the real question is, do I want to go target these guys or target these guys that are pushing down this way? I think I'm tempted to start dropping in here. At least for the next minute. Yeah, I'm going to do that, because what I really don't want, is them keep pushing down towards this house. If we can stall them, then next minute I can switch back, drop more bombs, and we've still got them in this kind of inflated, it's inflated position, albeit not with the most powerful force. I now think I almost might have been better actually having moved these guys all the way around. I've just noticed something going on over here as well. Let's get on this act. Who or what is shooting at you? Oh, it could be fire through here actually. Right, do you want to just back up a little bit? There you go. Something like that, so you're kind of out of the way. So I think you're just getting shot through that gap. You guys need to hurry up, man. Killing me. Still only the one casualty, which is frankly a miracle. You guys can't see the tank, and that's pretty far away. You'd be impressive to hit him with a Piat from there. Okay. Who or what was that? Don't know. Better not ask questions. Alright, let's go. We'll do one more minute, and then we'll have to call that at the end of the day for this episode. We'll see. Let's start over here, see if we can stall this attack. Ah, I should have kept over there. It's going to be a waste of a few mortar bombs. Although if it takes him out of the action, it will have been worth it, I suppose. It's taken a while to fall, to be fair. That's not a good one. Yeah, I need this machine gun out of action. Come on. As well as this team that's pushing up. Starting to get overwhelmed a little bit. Again, that's not a good position. Okay. Let's go. So that wasn't the greatest. I never checked for my own couches, I'll do that at the end. Let's go back and see what happens over here. This guy's still moving in position. He is stationary. I don't know if he's going to have line of sight from where he is actually. To be honest, if we just kind of have a stalemate here for another 4 minutes, I ain't going to complain. I suspect that's not going to happen. Also, maybe I've got this I don't know why he's running quite so far away. So he's also carrying all the spare ammo for these guys. Are you kidding me? What are you doing, man? You're supposed to be targeting armor like this thing, not giving away your position. I mean, did you at least hurt anyone? Maybe. You don't have that many HE shells. I suppose it's not the worst use in the world, but I'd rather we take out the armoured car and then feel free to use whatever you've got left. But it looks like this guy's in a good position where we can't see him. But hey, if you cause some couch, that's okay. I want to check for... just one rifleman. Okay. But things are getting tricky. He's a problem. And there was one further up here that was causing me lots of problems as well. Yeah. How's this squad here looking? They're still pretty good, actually. Yeah, just that initial casualty. Well, where's that? Where's that MG? We can get them to target that, I think. Here. Can we get this squad section even to target? Oh, I need to jump into command phase. Here. Yeah, it's essentially all I can ask for. And then we'll see if we can't take out a couple of MGs, because that would really turn the tide. If we can take care of this chap and keep this guy's head down, then our rest of our firepower should be enough. But I'm going to have to keep the mortars on that. Plus side of him having run away so far is you'll see from our mortar team, their ammunition's gone through the roof. No, that's not mortar team. Here. Yeah, so they now have access to all the HE bombs in there. So that's good, so you don't have to move before reloading, and I will probably just dump them all on these guys. Meanwhile, most important thing we want to check, and I realise my time has run on massively, but let's... Hang on. You can see that guy. Well, shoot him then. What the heck? Don't wait for an invitation. Okay, but on that cliffhanger of whether our AT gun's actually going to take a shot or not, we're actually going to have to end this episode here. So, thanks very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed yourselves. And I'll catch you all in the next one where hopefully we can repulse another German attack. I'll see you then.